Oh man, this is a video I've been wanting to make for quite a bit. So hey, what's going on everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and I've made a plethora of game console related videos, and many related to the original Xbox, which thankfully my audience has seemed to enjoy. But this one is special right here. Why? Because this is not only my first ever Xbox that I purchased. Not me, I guess technically my mom purchased it because I was a young child at the time. But this is the first console that I ever owned. Yes, this right here was my first system. I guess technically I kind of got started a little late in the game, but one of those things where my parents didn't want to get me a game console because they said video games are going to rot your brain, yet they let me spend a bunch of time on the computer, so I don't really know what their logic was there. But either way, after, a bit of convincing and, begging for like 2 years, it was either get a PS2 or get a Xbox. Found out Microsoft was making a system, so as a kid I said I want an Xbox, and at one point, now I found out it wasn't launch day, but in either November or December of 2001, my mom picked me up from school. We drove over to a Best Buy, which was an hour away. They had 6 Xboxes in stock initially, but when we got there, they had 1 left. And it's this one right here that we're seeing. This is this is the initial IR receiver and everything for the, what was it, the DVD remote that you had to buy in order to unlock DVD playback on there. I remember getting that, hooking it up. I still have the blaster here. And this is a sticker from, I don't remember which game, but from some Xbox 360 game where I took the sticker off and put it right there because it looks cool. But this whole time, I never got rid of this system. The only thing was, it was just away from me because at one point my parents moved, it went with them, so I didn't have access to this for several years. But this past summer, it was summer of 2018, I ended up visiting my parents' house, and I got probably 95% of my stuff, and the other 5% is just, gaming-related stuff that is somewhere in the house that we couldn't find, but anything I could find, I took. And this was like the #1 thing for me, and funny enough, it was the last thing I found. So I'm finally reunited with my old system, and there's a few things we need to do. First of all, I'm going to clean up this system, because as you can see, it has seen much better days. I'm going to end up restoring it, so it is soft-modded. I'd like to see the details of that with you all, and I want to upgrade the soft mod. We're probably going to take it one step further, and just to ensure that it works and is further future-proofed, I'm going to TSOP flash the console. I'm not going to install a mod chip on here, and the last thing is, of course, we need to, well, to do all that, we're going to need to clean it up, and I'll probably upgrade the hard drive and all that as well too. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff that we're going to be doing to this system. And this is just, oh man, like looking at it here, let me show you all. Right there, this thing has never been opened, as you can see. And it was manufactured November 20th, 2001. So 5 days after the North American launch. This is awesome. So let's go ahead and get started here. And I'm just going to, this is not going to be a tutorial by any means. If you're interested in soft modding your system or doing any of those other things, I have a few tutorials on the channel. I also have several videos where I kind of just walk through all that, and there's many other people that make great tutorials, but this is just going to be me talking through, reminiscing and everything. So if that's something you're not at all interested in, yeah, this is going to take a while. Yeah, this is going to get rambly. Yeah, I am going to get off topic. And if you're not interested in that, that's fine. Just go ahead and leave the video now. But if you are, let's crack this thing open. But first, before we get into this, I just realized we need to make sure this thing turns on. And on top of that, when I open this thing up, we also need to remove the clock capacitor because it is a 1.0 system. So before I open it up or do anything, I want to make sure this thing actually turns on. Full disclosure, I know that the disk drive in here is a nasty-ass Thompson drive, which some people say, oh, the Thompsons aren't that bad. No. The Thompsons are bad. They are the worst of the original Xbox drives. And I know because this thing had so many issues reading discs while I had it, like original discs, and even when I would, near the end of using this, play burn discs on it, it had issues with those as well too. So all the other drives are better except for the Thompson here. I'm probably not going to replace the drive unless it's completely dead. I will just clean that up, but we'll see what's going on here. So again, let's go over to the computer here before we open this up, and I want to make sure this thing works. All right, I got my capture software going, and oh my, That sounds horrible. Oh my god. That looks horrible too. Oh, and my ignorant ass, I remember I changed this to Fahrenheit because oh my god. I can't believe this thing still works. Okay, I can because I took care of my stuff, thankfully, but there we go. All right, that horrible noise is gone. So I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy about all this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You all, I thought of this. All right, I thought of this. This thing, I'm quite confident this thing has not been turned on for at minimum 6 years. But I never opened this thing up, so it is completely stock. It has the 8 GB drive in there. Let's just see what's going on. First of all, in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, I didn't want to use Celsius because I was ignorant, so I changed this to Fahrenheit. I didn't know about the networking stuff and all that, so that's why it's on static. I know that right now I do have this hooked up to my network, but I would need to change that to dynamic. And let's make this a little bit better, okay? Because, oh, this looks horrible. This is also going to be the first time I've run this thing in anything that was not 480i. So let's go to the video display. Let's make that widescreen. Enable. There we go. Save. I do need to restart my Xbox, I know. Alright, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Oh my goodness, alright, that looks so much nicer. Let's also change... Sorry, I'm just gonna have fun going through all the settings here. I don't even remember what version this is, but I believe this version of Unleash X I got from Auto Installer Deluxe. So that's looking a lot nicer now. Let's see, anything that we can check on here? No, nothing real crazy about this. I'm going to say no to use Fahrenheit. Looks like we're using Unleash X version 0.38. Let me see if I can get any further details on that at all. There is the hard drive. Yep, as you can see, all the details right there, and it is locked because it is a what is it? A soft modded console. Even if you try this here, I was smart enough to never attempt that. I don't know why somebody would try to unlock their drive on a soft modded system and see that warning and still go through with it. Nothing over there. That's all fine. You know what? I'm going to, because I do actually want to do this. Where is DHCP at? Type there, DHCP. That's okay. Because I would like to back up my stuff on here if I could. And I think we're good on all that. Let me just restart this again. Alright, so first let's take a look at the saves and such I had on here. So I'm actually going to go into here. Actually, where was it? Oh, here's my emulators. Alright, I really didn't use these for the most part, but I think these were also on Auto Installer Deluxe as well. I remember I thought this was really cool. You could use this to play... What the hell was it? I was using this to play my Sega CD games off the disc before I had a Sega CD console. I have one now, so that's fine. But yeah, I think that might be for modern vintage gamers, so shout out the boy MVG. And I never really messed with the ROMs and such on here all too much because in my house, growing up, I didn't have a really good networking environment to utilize, so I was really burning discs off and all that stuff. Let's see what's in PCS Xbox, if anything. I think I might have used this, but I don't necessarily remember. I just remember I would put stuff on my hard drive and then take it off and all that, so... Let's wait. I hear that hard drive just chugging. I want to keep using this to a minimum. Alright. This does not look familiar at all, actually, so I don't even remember if I tried this. Let's see, select game. Do I have anything? No, I don't have anything on here. Alright. So I'm just going to return to launcher. Yes. But I like how they were using the XBMC theme. I think I have an older version of XBMC on here as well. We'll just kind of still run through that. Let's just check this out. Alright, any games? Yes, I have Ed, Edd n Eddy the Misadventures. Oh my goodness, the one game I have on there that's so fitting. In case anyone doesn't know, that's my all-time favorite, childhood cartoon. For applications, of course, the DVD X2 dongle-free DVD player, DVD to Xbox, XBMC. I could never figure out Halo Cache Editor, and I don't remember what Xbox watches at all, but let's take a look at XBMC. I don't think I had anything crazy on here. So here we go, a really old version of this. Let me see if I could pull the version number from this at all. About XBMC. There we go. Anything? Oh man, I'm not seeing any version info, unfortunately. But oh man, this is cool. A lot of this, I'm not even really wanting to remove from the system. I'm just going to be straight up about that. Because this is a system I'm going to keep more for, sentimental sake and everything, so I'm not trying to, wipe everything on here. But yeah, I really didn't use XBMC all that much. Again, it would have been nice if I had a proper networking setup, and I'm sure I would have loved it, but since I didn't, it just didn't appeal to me all too much. I still just stuck to Unleash X. Let me go ahead, and there's something that keeps popping up. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's just, there we go, the CPU speed, IP address, all that stuff. It's using the static one. Interesting. Let me go here. I'm actually just system info. Let's see what that has, if anything. All right, no, cool. That just gives me all that. There we go, XBMC for Xbox. There's a compile date, so this is running a almost decade-old version of XBMC. That's awesome. I'm pretty sure this exact version is easily available online too, because I'm quite sure I installed it through Auto Installer Deluxe. Let's go ahead and reboot the system. Now I think I deleted these custom soundtracks I had on here just to make room back in the day. I'm just trying to see. Oh, let's try Xbox Watch. And all right, actually, I like that background image. That's pretty cool. Press A to synchronize, press B to save date and all that. Okay, cool. I don't even remember where the hell I got this from. And if anybody has any more detail on that background photo, that'd be awesome. But press back. Okay, time server IP. So this just kind of all right. Cool. I don't ever remember using this until now. All right, so to check out my game saves as well, I'm actually going to go to the MS dashboard here. And xb1x-xb file does not exist. I always had issues with that. Sometimes I got it to load up, sometimes I didn't. No, not format menu. That's not what I want. So let me see the file explorer, where the hell the original one is. It looks like no, I think that's just the regular, well, Unleash X on here. You know what? We're not going to piece through that. Some of this I'm going to need to resolve and all that, but I'm actually going to go to... Where the hell is it? Not that. What am I trying to do here? Let me check out the save manager. That's what I'm wanting to load. I like the save manager on the original dashboard more, but let's see. I think that's from the Family Guy game. It wasn't that good. Biojacker, Blood Omen 2. Oh my goodness. This is one thing, guys. I have to go in and back up all my saves. That's actually why I wanted to get this onto my network here. So I don't remember playing Castlevania, but Conquer Live and Reloaded, I didn't get too terribly far. There it is. Dead or Alive 3, I'm actually shocked I don't have, well, it's saying there. It's using quite a bit of blocks, so I wonder what's going on with that. Destroy All Humans 2, Doom 3, Ed Netty, of course, Fable. I wasn't really crazy about that all too much. Okay, quick story. To this day, I wish I still had this copy. I had Grand Theft Auto 3, which is it is my favorite game ever, and the disc I had, like, I don't know if it was just bunk or what, but I noticed that textures would just not load about half the time, so I bought it for like $5. It was broken, and then I ended up selling it, and part of me wishes I still kept that disc just so I could see if the disc was really borked that badly, or if it was my console. But Vice City, of course, San Andreas, I mostly played this on, what the hell was it? On the PS2. And I just got the Xbox version so I could download saves using Action Replay and transfer them over easily. And yeah, that's one thing. I actually had a Action Replay for the Xbox. Unfortunately, I could not find that. The Cotrosity map pack. Okay, this was really cool. I remember a friend of mine just told me, this is in our Halo 3 days, he said that there was this like big pack of maps that you could download, and they were all modded Halo 2 maps and just crazy customized and all that. And I remember I was the only person among all of us who had a modded Xbox, so we found a link for it, and I dumped Halo 2 myself, and I had to use the tools to get all the scripts and everything, and get everything to modify the maps, and that involved really taking all of the clean maps from Halo 2, putting them alongside the mods, and then running a script which would then use those clean maps to create the modded maps, and then compiling an ISO, burning it, and playing it on here. I had to do all that from scratch. Let's see, my Halo saves. All right, awesome. Halo Cache Editor, Hunter the Reckoning. Alright, this, I still don't know how the hell to say that. Lego Star Wars 2, Link's Box, Mame Docs, Max Payne, oh my goodness, such a great game. Max Payne 2, I finally finished these on the Xbox 360. Here's a few more emulators. Menu X, I don't even know what that is. Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. I think this was the save that I finished on. Midnight Club 3, I don't remember playing this all too much. Midtown Madness, I thought this was okay. Mortal Kombat Deception, barely played that. NBA Live 07, the reason why I have this, I'm not a sports person, but the reason why I have this is because when I had gone overseas, I found one silver bootleg Xbox game, and this was it. And I got it just so I could have it, and I don't know where it is to this day, but that's why that's on there. Need for Speed Carbon, Underground, Online Updater Application. That's probably from like the Halo 2 maps. Oh my goodness. Official Xbox Magazine discs. I don't have these. I need to know where they're at. So this is why I said there's about probably 5% of my stuff that's missing. But I had disc 1, 23, 6, 7, 8. I know I had a lot more, but just throughout the years when I had this system, because, you know, I had this limited 8 gig drive, I was just going out and deleting a bunch of stuff I didn't use. Panzer Dragoon Orta, great game. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. This game was cool, I remember. This game just looked incredible when I picked it up. Project Gotham Racing. Never really got the hang of it, but it was cool. I remember I really wanted to play this game. Really wanted to play it and got it, and I enjoyed it for what it was. RPM Tuning, sure. Scarface, I don't think I ever got that one to work successfully. Did they make a Shrek 2 game? I don't even remember that. I had the first one. I don't remember Shrek 2, though. Of course, the modded Splinter Cell save, Spy Hunter. Don't remember too much from that. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. I think I probably just like popped this in just to try it out. Time Splitters 2. I was always bad at it. Tony Hawk's Underground. Very much enjoyed this game. Unleash X Xbox launcher, of course, that there. The FTP client, Media Center Watch, Zord Train. I don't remember installing that. Huh. All right. Cool. So, miscellaneous, all that other fun stuff. All right, cool. Format menu, any skins. No, I didn't put any of that stuff on there. All right, that was really awesome. What I'm actually going to do right now, and you know what? I'm surprised. I'm looking at the looking at my temperatures, and I'm shocked that for a system that was never opened, never cleaned, and especially an original 1.0 system, this system is not as hot as it should be. Maybe it's because of the fan speed. Let me actually see if I turn that down to 1.0, if it ends up decreasing. There. So let me try. It's all the way down here. Save. All right. And let's see if that goes up at all. But my other Xboxes, even when I clean them, repaste them and all that, they seem to hover around anywhere from 45 to 50 Celsius, and that's just what's normal for an original Xbox. So, yeah. What I'm going to do is, again, while this system I know is working and everything, I am going to connect to it real quick using FTP, and I'm going to pull my save data off of it, because I really want that. Oh, here's one thing, though. I'm actually kind of disappointed. I think on purpose, I did delete my Halo 2 saves off here, which that's quite disappointing because I was actually hoping to show you all a save I had, which was really cool, where you could fly the Prophet, his name is escaping me. I think it was Regret. You could fly Prophet Regret's chair. You load up the save, and you could fly around in it. I thought that was really cool. And yeah, as I said, there was a lot of stuff I deleted on here, so I wasn't one of those people who just never deleted my saves. No, I cleaned them out quite a bit. So unfortunately, that's why I don't have any Halo 2 saves here, and I don't even think I have the I don't have the map pack. I mean, that's not technically the map pack, but I don't have the expandable maps just because I wasn't regularly playing Halo 2 when I was modding this system. But yeah, let me go ahead and connect over. Alright, so for anybody that does not know, this is what you can do where I'm just using any type of FTP client. I'm using WinSCP for this, and I just connect it to the Xbox. So to the left is my desktop, to the right is my Xbox here. Let's see, inside of this, do I have... Alright, good. I have my EEPROM data. I'm going to download that immediately. I am going to null out the key, so that will be okay, but I'm just going to make sure I get that. That's one of the issues with this original soft mod, which we're going to be upgrading the soft mod first up.
this soft mod, even just old soft mods in general, were always really iffy if you tried to mess around with them and all that. And some people could say just don't mess around with it. Look, I was one of those people. I wanted to play around with it and do all that fun stuff. Actually, I'm probably just going to download a lot of this stuff here just for fun, because why the hell not? All right, so I've just been going through these, and check it out. I kind of want to show you all one of the findings. So here, of course, got my thankfully the backup is here. Again, soon I'm going to null the hard drive key, and also I'm going to, quite honestly, since I'm going to be hard modding it with the custom BIOS, this isn't going to matter. But we got the dashboard right here that's been backed up, and right here, check this out. This really doesn't matter anymore. Soon it won't matter, but there's all my, my key information and all that. So awesome. Really cool to see that. Now, I just thought this was a little bit funny. So the games, this is pretty much going to be the only thing that I'm not going to back up, because at the time, hey, full disclosure, at the time when I put this on the drive, and this date is not correct, but when I put this on the Xbox, I did not own the game. All right, I think many people who had a OG Xbox that was modded back in the day did that same thing. But I do own this game now. I have the original disc, and I have ripped it over like over a year or two ago. So I'm not at all worried about, if I lose that or not. But just like media, you know what? Sure, I can back up media. Why not? But I just found this funny with like music, for example. Put music here. There's just these text files that are like that. I have 2 skin files. This one I backed up because Xbox HQ. This might be a little bit interesting. Then, of course, the skins, YouTube downloads. I think that was probably something related to XBMC, because, again, a lot of this I really didn't utilize the networking features on here. But was it media? Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to back up media, T-data, U-data, just download these over. All right, and that actually didn't take all too terribly long. So one thing I would like to do while I'm here is I'd actually like to upgrade the soft mod on here and do a bit of the trickery and all that. So that's what I'll be doing real quick. Let me just take my discs and pop it in, and let's see if I can open up the drive gracefully. Yes, all right. Thankfully, the drive just opens beautifully, I might add, without having to open it, or without having to, pound on the top of the Xbox. I'm quite happy about that. The question's going to be, oh, that sounds horrible. That's going to be the real tough thing here. Is it going to read the disc? Yes it is. All right, cool. Let me fire this up. All right, so here we go. In case you don't know, this is Rocky 5's soft modding tool, which is what everyone should really be using. I have an F drive? Hold on. Really? Holy shit, I do. What is this? What? I didn't even know. I didn't know. Wow, all right. I'm even trying to question how I have it. I had to mess with the XP partitioner at one point. I remember seeing XP partitioner, but I don't remember extending out my F drive. Crazy. I'm actually going to log into this real quick and pull the stuff that I need to off it. All right, I think I just honestly kind of spaced out when I did this before, but I'm right here again, and I'm just backing up the entire F drive, just for the emulators and all that stuff, just in case. But once this is done, let's go ahead and work on upgrading the soft mod. And actually, there's actually one thing. Hold on, I want to show you all this because I saw something transfer over. I saw something. All right, emulators. Where's that? I think, yeah, that should be it. Let me fire this up, and I can actually show you all this now, but check this out. I have one ROM on here, which is Super Mario 64, which is a game I own, so I'm not worried about that, but it was sitting right here. Awesome. Let me go ahead, launch with, I don't know what I'll just do project, okay, sure. I just want to run this. I don't care how well it runs or not, but let's see. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. Wow, what a letdown. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and put the softmod disk back in. I've backed up all this stuff just in case, but let me put the softmod disk back in. Oh, that disk drive just sounds horrible. My goodness. All right, so that's one example there. I just had to restart the system, but oh, that sounds so bad. Yeah, it's that disk drive that's making all the horrible noises. Ugh. Yeah, this is what I had to deal with, you know, near the end of using this Xbox. All right, let's launch this. All right, so now let's actually get down to business. I'm going to go to Enter Menu, upgrade old soft mods. That's it. Yeah, we have plenty on the E partition. Are you sure? Yep, that's fine. All right, cool. Now, if you're interested in this section at all, I actually do have a couple soft modding tutorials on the original Xbox. Actually, 3 now at this point there should be. I have one using Softmod Installer Deluxe. I have one using this tool for upgrading, which is what we're doing right here. And I have another one for if you're doing it from scratch. All right, so yep, let's finish this upgrade. Yep, sure. And I have NTSC Xbox. All right, so the Softmod has officially been upgraded. So I'm actually going to go here. Skins, default. There we go, because that's what I like. All right, let me go to System again. Settings. Where is it? Oh, and nice, my F drive shows up now. So nice little updated variant of it. Video display. I think I have to. No, it's screen calibration. That's what I need to do. There we go. There. It was sticking for whatever reason. That was strange. But there, that's all done. Awesome. There's going to be a few other things I'll install here as well too, just to make sure this is working accordingly. All right, so back on the disk here, I'm actually going to go to dashboards and install the stock dash here. Wait for that to clean up, and I'm going to install the audio just so I could have this soft modded state here fully working properly, doing all the stuff it needs to, and I can actually access the Microsoft dash here. So some people might be asking why I'm doing this when I'm just going to hard mod the system. I just like to make sure this is in the most stable and up-to-date state I can have it in before I do anything further on here. Like one thing was I want to make sure, you know, it could actually put the data in properly and all that. It looked like my previous dashboard did that as well too, but this actually pulls the legitimate date, which is nice. So we'll see on that. Point is, I just want to go through the steps of actually upgrading the soft mod, getting it to a properly soft modded state, and then going forth with the hard mod after all of this has been installed here. So the other thing I'm going to do, which won't really matter all too much once we hard mod the system, is just null out the key here. I guess it will matter if I ever decide to flash the stock BIOS back to it, but part of this is I would like to preserve this console and everything, and I'm really not going to be using this system all too much. I just want to get it up to speed, update it, make sure it works, and if I have to use it, I will, and that's totally fine. But part of that is also just, you know, having the custom BIOS on there to help preserve it and, you know, keep the longevity of it in case, you know, the hard drive dies. I can easily pop in a new one with no issue. So for this, I'm also going to go to Applications, install Capacitor is already there, so I'm just going to exit out of this. Alright, so it's actually making all the noises and all that stuff now. I'm going to go over to Applications. That's it. Capacitor, and let's see, go to, I believe it's, yeah, EEPROM, Advanced, Hard Drive, Null Key. Yep. Cool. All right, so there we go. That's all done. So at this point, I feel immensely better with my childhood Xbox and the software side of things. Again, I have the Softmod stabilized, up to date, looking nice and everything, nulled out the hard drive key, so just in case this thing borks, let's say right now, the key is going to be fine. I do have the backup, but just in case, it's 32 zeros. And now at this point, what I'm going to do is turn off the system, finally open it up, give it a nice good cleaning, and then we can commence with flashing the custom BIOS to it. Alright, so here we go. We're back over at the workbench. Let's start opening this thing up. Move that out of the way. Get my toolkit. And here we go. Oh man. I've opened up so many of these at this point, but this is, again, the first ever Xbox I've ever owned. I always said that I was not a hardware person, so I limited myself to software. So glad I burst myself out of that bubble, but that's also one reason why I never opened this thing up. Fun. By the way, if you got a Dollar Tree nearby or something, look for these. These are awesome. I got a couple of these, of course, each for $1. Just so useful for putting screws and all that in. So let's see. Well, let me... Sure, I'll remove that. Let's actually see how much of a difference that makes. Nah, still dirty. Alright, cool. Well, let's go ahead and start taking this all apart. So I need
my Torx 20. And check this out. Check this out. We're gonna be busting this open for the first time. Oh, I'm actually surprised that it comes out easily enough. But there we go. We have officially busted the seal. We have voided the warranty of this Xbox. Microsoft will never support. If I send this to them, they're gonna send it right back to me. All right, let me put that there, and let's go through the rest of these. All right, so I've removed all 6 of the bottom screws. Let's go ahead, flip this, start taking it apart here. You know what? I think I'm going to have to. Oh man, yeah, I don't want to do it, but well, let me see if I can reapply this later. Oh man, I have to remove the sticker. I'm gonna leave this here for now because I'll see if it can go back on. If not, it's all good. I'll have to put something on to differentiate it, but let me just finish this. There we go. Oh man, and oh yeah, that definitely smells like an Xbox. Of course, Seagate hard drive, slightly warm. This ribbon's like slightly yellow. Which I guess that's from age or something? I don't know, because like, we never smoked in our household, man. So, can't be from smoke. Now, the metal there looks extremely clean. I'm just going to keep this off because I'm going to run this thing under the sink and, you know, clean it really well. There we go. Let's go ahead and remove this. All right. And let's get the T15 out. Or no, T10, excuse me. So here's one story I want to share with you, because I shared it in a video years and years ago, but I had the opportunity, if I wanted to get this thing hard modded. So I am one of those people, I've always liked doing my own modifications, hence why I, you know, do this for fun, teach myself how to do all this fun stuff. Just because, you know, I'd rather do it myself. I've had other people do mods for me, but I don't necessarily rely on that, and then I tried to, you know, learn it on my own and all that. If I was going to replicate it, do it to a few other systems. So, the town I was in, I remember there was one college student I was talking to, and granted, this is back in the day where, like, you know, obviously 6th generation systems, that was the popular one. The Xbox was really popular in college towns due to, you know, piracy, straight up. Not only if you were in the dorms or something, you could network your system and have a huge LAN party all across campus at any given time, but on top of that, the other thing you could do, let's see if there's any other date on here, manufactured November 2001, let's see. I can't look at this really very well upside down, but I'm sure this is the same thing on here. And whoever wrote that 3 was horrible. It doesn't even look like it. Barely looks like it's like some squiggles or something. Damn. Let's go ahead and remove this carefully. There we go. I'll get back to the story here soon, but alright. So far that doesn't look bad. I am going to give it a cleaning, but so far that's not looking all too bad. Let me unscrew this. So essentially what happened was, as I said, this was a super popular system because of piracy, and not only because of, you know, the network capabilities. Essentially, I'll get right down to it. What you could do is there were people who, one college student in the dorms, for example, his side hustle was if you let him borrow your Xbox for a few hours and gave him $50 and gave him a hard drive of your own choosing, he would open up your Xbox, perform a hard mod to it, and install that upgraded hard drive for you. So the big appeal to people was that you could then, you know, go out, buy a Xbox for $250 at the time, get yourself like a 300 gigabyte IDE drive, then go over to the dorms, pay this guy $50, let him use your Xbox for a few hours, and when you get it back, you have, you know, a brand new Xbox with a 300 gig drive on there. And then at that point, it's just a matter of either downloading the games that you want, or you can, yeah, I'll clean that too. It's really just downloading the games that you want, or going to Blockbuster, renting them for the shortest period of time, taking it, so do like a 2-day rental, take the DVD home, pop it in your Xbox, use DVD to Xbox to rip it to your hard drive, and then return it to Blockbuster. So that was the big hustle at the time. There was one guy who, I think he was like a master's student, he was talking to me about this, and he was trying to encourage me to do it, and I said no. I said no, because like, I don't know what it was. I guess first of all, I wanted to do my own mods. Second, I wanted to, I didn't trust anyone else with my system, and I even asked him, is the guy trustworthy? He's like, oh yeah, he's not gonna steal your Xbox or anything. And then I remember even my dad was considering, he's like, well, maybe, you know, that'd save you money on games. And ultimately I said no. I think the other reason was I wanted to keep this thing like Xbox Live safe, but I never took this on to Live. Even after I got Xbox Live, I only used it on 360. I never did it on my original Xbox. So, like, past me, what were you doing? You could have had a chipped system, because I'm sure he was installing a mod chip in there. I don't know the details. I just know it was a hard mod, and he upgraded the DVD drive. Well, hard drive, excuse me. Damn, this is what I hate about this, right? With the Thompson drives, they have this little plastic, I guess not plastic, this metal, and I guess this is for grounding, and it makes it such a pain to take out. So I actually have another console I modded recently with a Thompson drive, and I just removed this right here because it was causing such an annoyance. But let me see if I can take this out. Ow, there we go. There we go. All right. And all right. Let's remove that. Remove that. There we go. I'm definitely removing this thing. It's gone. All right, gone. Just gone. And let me take the DVD drive out of here. Yeah. There we go. All right, so we got all these plastic pieces here. I'm just putting them on the ground with all the other plastic pieces. The hard drive I don't need at this point. Well, I mean, I will need it, but I'm not caring about it all too much. And then the DVD drive, which I'll put somewhere to get all cleaned up. So honestly, I'm not going to tell you all it's clean. I mean, it's dirty, but it's certainly not anywhere near as bad as many other consoles I've come across. To be honest, this is what I would expect to see opening up many other original Xboxes. So cool. I mean, it's great that I'm finally taking the initiative to get this all cleaned up. This coloring on the IDE cable is really doing me in, but I'm probably just going to upgrade this with another IDE hard drive, so I don't care all too much. All right, remove that, there we go. Cool. And of course, since it's a 1.0 model, it has all the solder in the LPC bus right there. So that was the cool thing about these. Essentially, right here, trying to show you all, I'm not going to zoom in, but there is kind of like a little JTAG looking port, and that is where you could put in your mod chip. So you can install it either one of two ways. You could either clear out all the solder there and then put in a pin header and snap the mod chip on top of the pin header, or two, I've seen people do this. It's not graceful, but this is more like if you don't want to clear that out and you just want to, you know, get to playing your burned games and all that stuff. I've seen people take the mod chip and like fashion it right here to the side of the console, or not the console, but you know, the metal here, the chassis or chassis, I guess. That some people get mad at me for saying anything, dude, but or pronouncing anything. But you can put it just right here and kind of affix it, and then solder wires directly from the respective, you know, points they need to be over to the mod chip itself, and that works the same. It's just it doesn't look nearly as clean. So yeah, those are the couple ways that you could do that there. Let's go ahead and get to cleaning this thing, shall we? Let's go ahead, remove this. Oh, and this is one really big important thing. So this is the clock capacitor. So far it looks okay. I was gonna reuse my phone's light, but why am I doing that when I have this big ass lamp right here? I see like some sparkles around there, which aren't on any other point of the board. So I'm going to assume that it has at least begun to leak a tiny bit, but the capacitor itself looks fine. So I am going to still remove that, and I'm going to clean up the area and the rest of the board, but I'm really happy that there wasn't just corrosion everywhere, because I've seen that on a few systems. So that's one thing I would absolutely recommend anybody does, is always, like, if you get a system that is lower than a 1.6, remove the clock capacitor. You got to do it. You got to do it. So there we go. So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna take out everything here. I just want to clean all this up. All right. Oh, times like that, I'm so happy I have a magnetized screwdriver. That's the great thing about this. Where is the other screw? How screwy is this? Oh well, not too fussed about it. Let's go ahead and remove everything else that we needs to here, because again, I just kind of want to clean up everything on this if I can. Alright, so there we go. Now I'm removing this because one, I want to get, you know, a good cleaning job on the system, and two, I don't remember if there's a point on the bottom of the board I have to solder. Let's see, the bottom of the board, check that out, that looks nice. So the top, that's where all the dust, nasty stuff is. The bottom, this is how it should be looking. Let's see if we can get anywhere close to what it originally was. I'm just going to move that over here. Got all this. I guess I can technically uninstall these as well too. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the screws that was hidden for the power supply. So power supply looks alright as well too. This doesn't look too bad. Alright. So you know what? The 12-year-old version of myself would have been terrified to do what I just did. But I just did all that here without any type of hesitation. So I'm proud of how far I've come at this point. I'm going to go ahead and take these all downstairs and blow the dust out of them. Thankfully, I have a, I guess, a shop vac. That's what it is. I have a shop vac in my garage, so I will just run these through that real quick. All right, so maintenance time, at least on the motherboard. The first thing I'm going to do is start removing this clock capacitor here. So the way I do it, there's a few methods. You could, cut the legs if it's long enough, if it's kind of sticking above the board a little bit more than it is now. You could desolder it, which I've shown before, but honestly, the method that I sometimes prefer, like right now, is just to rock it gently back and forth until it pops off. So that's what I'm going to do here. There's one, there's two legs. All right, cool, both those have snapped off, so there. It is completely off the board, and it's not going to be replaced. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solder together or bridge the 2 points that are required to do a TSOP flash, so I don't have to worry about it later. There's going to be 2 points on the top and 2 points on the bottom. So let me fire up my soldering iron here, and while I'm doing that, I'm actually going to get out my 99% isopropyl alcohol and some Q-tips. Alright, so normally I'm quite a proponent of using liquid flux. However, with these points it's a little bit different. If you end up cleaning them up and putting liquid flux there, it actually makes it harder to do the job to bridge them unless you use wire. So this is a ST TSOP from what I can see. Thankfully, since it's not a Sharp branded TSOP, I don't need to do anything further to, wire, to solder up a wire. But I'm just going to use some heat from the soldering iron and a little bit of solder to bridge the 2 points I need. I think that's it actually. That's all for the top point there. Awesome. Yeah, as you can see, that takes about 5 seconds to do maybe. And let's flip this over to the bottom. And around this area there's another point that I need to do, so let's find that. There we go. I'm happy with that. So that one took a little bit longer, but all in all, maybe a 2-minute process. So for this 1.0 board, on the bottom, let me get these cleaned up as well too. Again, I actually did have to clean this to get it to stick a little bit better, but just below R7, R3, there's 2 solder points that you're able to bridge on the bottom. Again, this is only for 1.0, 1.1 Xboxes. 1.2 to 1.5 are a little bit different. So I got those 2 points. And then up on the top here, it is just below R7D3, where you get that point. So awesome. Now the nice thing is having those points, having the points on the top and having them on the bottom enable write access to the BIOS, which lives right there, which at that point means essentially I have the capability of having a mod chip without actually having a mod chip. Because in short, all a mod chip does is allow you to boot up your Xbox with a custom BIOS. So therefore, if we boot the custom BIOS from the Xbox itself, there's no need for a chip. So awesome. I'm going to, since all that's done, that's all the soldering I'm going to be doing here. I'm just going to tin my soldering iron real quick and turn it off. So one thing I definitely want to do is around this area, clean this up for sure. Again, it looks like it might have leaked like a tiny bit. Oh yeah, I can see that for sure, because there's just like some residue that's showing up. And again, it's like this area is just a little bit sparkly compared to the rest of the board. So therefore it has leaked out a little bit, unfortunately, but we got it before it could really do any damage, thankfully. So that's another thing to anybody who is watching. If you have a original Xbox motherboard that is version 1.5 or lower, you need to remove the clock capacitor. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's really one of those things, if your clock capacitor is not leaking now or it hasn't leaked yet, it will leak. It's just a matter of time, so you might as well just do it as soon as you can. If you have a Xbox on hand and you don't know if you've removed the clock capacitor or if the previous owner has removed it, I definitely recommend opening it up. 1.6 and 1.6b owners don't need to worry, but if there is a capacitor right there, you need to remove that. And again, you don't even need any skill set to do it. You can rock it back and forth. It takes about 5 minutes tops to do that modification, and it absolutely prevents your system from eating itself from the inside out. So now that's all good. Cool. Let me go ahead and run through the rest of this board here, actually, just to see what else I can clean. All right, so cool. The last bit of maintenance I want to do on this board now is just removing the CPU and GPU heat sinks here, and getting underneath and removing the old thermal paste and putting in some nice new stuff. There we go. All right, after a bit, got that. Let's remove this from the back as well too. All right. Thankfully, the CPU almost always seems to come off super easily, so I'll just clean there, clean that of course, and let me also unhook this and do the GPU here. This is the one that's always the problem child, so what I might have to do is grab a underpowered heat gun, aka a hair dryer, and just run it here a bit and get it out. And yeah, I'm not trusting that, so let me grab the hair dryer real quick. Alright, so what I did, I put this heatsink back on temporarily just so I'm not directly blasting the chip itself there with heat. But what I did was I just ran this for about 90 seconds on low. There we go. There we go. Oh. That is so nasty, man. It always comes out pink as well, too. To me, this looks like someone chewed bubblegum and then just stuck it there and then slapped this on top of it. I know that's not really what happened, but that's how it looks to me. So, cool. This, of course, definitely needs a cleaning. So, the reason why I also did 90 seconds is because the last time I did this, I ran it for a minute and couldn't get it off. Then I ran it for another minute and I did get it off. So that's why I want to see, well, if I run it continuously for 90 seconds, will it work? The answer is yes. So I'm just going to remove the thermal paste on both of these here, the CPU and GPU heatsinks, as well as the CPU and GPU itself. I also want to work on the disk drive, though, while I let that do its thing. So let me go ahead and move this over here. Kind of have to move things about a bit. Kind of just move these onto the ground. Maybe I could clean. Actually, power supply I don't really need to do anything to. these controller ports could definitely use a good cleaning. So yeah, solder can go right there. All right, cool. And I think I can just put this over to the side easily enough, so that's what I'll be doing. So for this method, I'm just going to use Art2Clean. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, you could just do the same thing with Goo Gone and isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, you could, but from my experience, I've noticed that Art2Clean does the same thing, except it can be a bit more controlled and takes less time and also works out a little better. Just, I've noticed Goo Gone, essentially, it really does the same thing, except kind of, as I said, it takes longer to do and it takes longer to clean up and everything, so this is just a way of speeding up the process. So I've got that running on both of those. And let me just put a little bit right here. It doesn't even really need anything. And let me put some on the GPU as well. There we go. Kind of just need to let that stew. So yeah, got both those done. Let me now just kind of gently move this to the side. I'll work on you later. So after I put the new thermal paste on, I mean, that's going to be it for the work on the motherboard because I cleaned up the rest of it as well too. Now, what else can I do? Oh, I didn't take the fan off the GPU heatsink, so I cannot clean that right now. But let me go ahead and get the controller ports here. Which for these, I could probably just take a, where is my Q-tips? Where's my Q-tips? Here they are. I'm gonna have to refill on Q-tips here, but just grab some Q-tips with some alcohol and clean them up. And it goes everywhere, but it's fine. I don't care that much about this table. And you know, I have to say, I'm happy to report that cleaning these contacts here, I'm really not getting any much grime, if any, out of them. So, cool. So that's all done. I guess the last thing I want to do, because for like these plastic pieces here, I do want to use them here shortly, so I'm just going to really wipe them down. The top of the case I will give a nice bath to, but the DVD drive, because this thing has been problematic for years. You all have heard my little rants about that, so let me go ahead and move this here. And cool. So, Thompson drives. These things are interesting because they were apparently the worst Xbox drives from anecdotal experience. This was the worst Xbox drive, for me at least, and compared to all the drives I've used and drives that friends had. I first noticed that they were missing a few features when one of my friends got a Xbox for Christmas a few years after it came out, and he told me he was able to play burned CDs on his, not like games, but like burned music CDs. His was able to play them, and mine couldn't, and I therefore told him that he was lying. I'm so sorry about that, because he wasn't lying, because I saw it firsthand. He had a truly untouched, unmodified system, and it played CDRs, because it had one of the better drives. I don't know which one, but it had a better one. Oh, we have to remove the top here as well, too. See, I don't even like how this drive is set up here, like, at all. Do not like it. Now, thankfully, here in 2018, there's really almost no reason to use discs. If you do use them on a original Xbox, it is usually pretty sparingly for the most part, I'd say. Here, this is where I put all of them. So I'll use discs on my Xbox if I'm ripping over a game. So that's, you know, I'm using the game disc for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes tops on there. And then when it comes to, you know, setting up a mod-chipped Xbox or anything, I use it to do the initial installs, so the disk drive really doesn't get all that much usage, thankfully. Alright, so we've removed that. That's all looking well enough, really. Removing the sides here. Yes. That seems to be how to do it. It's been a while since I have taken apart a Thompson. There we go. Oh, a little bit of dust came out, but that's it. So honestly, I'll say the drive doesn't look all that bad, but I am going to do the necessary things to clean it. I'm not going to be replacing the the rubber band or the drive belt, because frankly, well, one, I don't know where my drive belts are, so did I order? Damn, I need to order some. I put them in my cart the other night and I didn't order them. So one, I forgot to order drive belts, and two, this thing opens up perfectly, so thankfully I don't really feel a need to replace it, but I will, you know, get rid of some of the hair and all that stuff. Can't be fur because I didn't really have an animal long enough to get this all furry. But let's see where the unlock mechanism is. There we go. Ah, there we go. There we go. Cool. What I am gonna do is I'm at least going to remove the belt, and I'll clean it if I can. Alright, so quickly what I did. At one point my camera ended up dying, unfortunately, but all I really did was move this over to the side, because I honestly don't really want to get under there completely. I don't want to hit that with alcohol either, because alcohol against rubber, you're gonna, you know, wear out the rubber a lot faster. So I just ran the alcohol on these gears here a little bit. Let me see if I can get this back on. I should be able to if it can get off easily. It can get on a little bit harder. There we go. Alright. And yeah, I really have no issues with that there directly. Let me completely rip this thing open. I like to normally go across the sides here, get whatever I can. It's been a while since I've cleaned up a disk drive. I think 1 or 2 times I've had to like reset the gears and all that on here, which are a little bit annoying to do, but still fun at the same time. Oh yeah. Yep, this is a little bit nasty, but again, thankfully I've seen a lot worse. Thankfully, we weren't smokers. None of us were, so, and are, still to this day. Kind of got the fur that I could. Let me get the actual tray itself. So that's gone. That's for the most part cleaned up. Done, done, done. Nothing really on the bottom I need to worry about. There was a hair in there. Kind of just took that out. And so at this point, I don't really mess with that. It's more the laser. I'm not going to really bother tweaking it all that much because I don't feel the need to do a pot tweak on here. I'd just be interested to see if it still makes the horrible noises, because it might or it might not. But there, I locked it back up. I'm just going to take a clean Q-tip, clean up the laser. That's the last thing I'm going to do. And then I'll close this thing up. And you know what, let me get the other Q-tips. There's a few other things I'm kind of wanting to brush away and clean up and everything, but I don't like throwing dust all over the place until I have the DVD drive all closed up. That's just me though. Alright, cool. So, now with all that done, let's go ahead and close this thing back up, see what we can do. And I will at least clean the top here, even though I don't necessarily need to, because thankfully this wasn't nearly as dusty as I thought it was going to be. Kind of put this here. In all actuality, I will say this, the one positive things about Thompson drives are, I kind of like how they're built. The way you have to open them and close them and, you know, rebuild them and everything, it's kind of interesting. So, that's about the only thing I like about them. But, yeah, whatever. From what I understand, though, I don't know how well anyone else would be able to verify this. Can I get this to click? That's the next thing I need to do. There we go. Finally clicked after I pushed down on it enough. And I'm not going to put the metal back on this because that is just, it's really annoying to put in and take out of the Xbox. I'll be completely honest with you there. So, no, what I was going to say was I don't know how well anyone would be able to verify this. I just don't feel like looking at super old eBay listings and such, or going through other sites. But apparently, someone I talked to had told me that at the time, you know, Samsung drives were the best for the Xbox. They still are. Not even at the time, they still are. Samsungs are the best. Philips are okay, and Thompson's the absolute worst. And people had verified it, and they knew it to the point where Thomson drives, if you had to buy a new drive, Samsung drives were going up to like $100, and Thomson drives were like $10 all day, every day. So I don't know how well anyone can verify that, but that's at least one of my friends, his experience with them. Let me screw this. Once I put this last screw in, I will commence the DVD drive here as done. Cool. All right. No worries on that now. Everything's all closed up, looking much nicer, good to go. So I can just do these real quick, which really all I'm going to do here for this plastic is I'm just going to wipe it down, because I don't want to like go all out and give it a big bath, because one, these pieces really don't need it all too much, and two, I do want to use them here shortly. Whilst with the top of the Xbox, with all, you know, the nooks and crannies and everything, I do want to give that a bath, just because it's gonna need it. And also, the nice thing is you can use like a toothbrush to go in and, you know, fine comb everything on that. Use a toothbrush you're not gonna put in your mouth, or like a retired toothbrush or something. All right, toothbrushes are easy enough. You can get a pack of them from the dollar store, and that'll work just fine for this purpose. So let's get the hard drive caddy. I don't know what you'd call this, the caddy or the plastic piece or something. I'm not sure. There we go. I'd say that's clean enough for what I need it to be. I'm not going to touch the top of the Xbox, but let me see what else I can do. All right, and as for this here, I kind of just decided to give this all a wipe down. On the inside, also cleaned up, you know, the parts I needed on the outside here. I'll do a more thorough cleaning on it later, I guess, but that should all be fine as well, too. So that's about it for all that stuff. Let's get back to the actual console itself. So I'm just going to move that over, kind of keep that down there. And for this, all right, paper towels, that's what I needed, paper towels. All right, so first let me grab the GPU heatsink. That's looking fine, awesome. There's like 2 little pieces of pink right there. And that should, in all honesty, be okay now at this point. I'll also clean up the fan here as well too. Let me go about doing that. Thankfully, I kind of blew the air out, well, blew most of the dust out of there, so didn't need all too much on that. But let me grab the other heatsink now. Oh man, didn't come off as effortlessly as I would have liked it to. So I'm gonna run that through one more time. Let me find where my stuff is at. And I also need to get to the other chips here, so again, for this, sometimes you just have to do it multiple times, which is totally fine. Cool. So kind of let that sit there. Again, the GPU, I'm totally fine with. Let's bring the console itself over. And I'm gonna get another paper towel. And first just kind of, you know, grab the excess. Now thankfully, it's kind of the opposites on this. Like, for example, cleaning the CPU is super easy to do. The CPU heatsink, though, normally I have to do it twice. And then as for the GPU heatsink is always really easy to do. The GPU itself, sometimes you kind of have to do it a second time here. So, got as much as I could on that. Let me actually grab a Q-tip. Not this one, what am I doing? Grab a Q-tip here and clean the rest off if I can. And as expected, it's not coming off as effortlessly. There's a few little bits of it here, which is okay. Well, okay as in, like, you know, it could have been a lot worse. But I'm gonna run this one through a second time as well. All right, so thankfully at this point now the heat sinks are all cleaned up. So let me get the purifier. So thankfully now, since the heat sinks are all cleaned up, let me get the purifier. Put this on the 2. Something like that. There we go. And I'll just kind of let that sit there for a bit. Meanwhile, I don't really trust that Q-tip. I should have seen what side I was using. Actually, this other side's clean. No, it's not. All right, let's go ahead, grab this. All right, so there we go. Took another minute or so. Just kind of cleaned this up as thoroughly as I could. And it looks like that's all clean now. So awesome. Not worried about the GPU. Let me put the purifier on the both of these. And then we could also start removing it from the, not the remover, removing it from the two heat sinks. So this will hopefully be a nice, clean, and cooled Xbox. And of course, I'm also going to put the thermal paste on, so. All right, something like that should be okay. All right, there we go. Just kind of, yeah. I'm pretty liberal about using this, but I make sure, you know, none of it actually gets underneath the chip because you don't want that to happen. All right, cool. So now I'm just going to remove the the purifier from these. So there's some markings on here, but honestly, that'll be okay. It's still cleaned up. And let me do the same thing here, and that will be fine for both of those. So now CPU is all cleaned up, and let me attack the GPU. GPU now should also be all cleaned up, thankfully. Both of those are looking great now. So next step is going to be applying the thermal paste. So let's go ahead, throw this stuff on, and then put down both the heat sinks, and at that point the motherboard would be done. There we go. It's a little bit stringy, and funny enough, I have still have a little bit left on this, even with the decent amount that I used on here. So let's go ahead and set up the both of these. All right, I'm going to put on the GPU here first, which what I do for this is just plop it down and then secure it. That's it. You hook this up. There we go. GPU's done. For the CPU, really about the same thing. Just plop it down and install this piece back. This is supposed to go on the back here, I believe. Yep. And there we go, something like that. Pop it down on the front, push it down. There we go. So awesome. GPU and CPU have been cleaned up, purified, and have been repasted, so they should be good to go for a long while. Let me go ahead and remove all this garbage from the area. All right, so now it's time to pretty much do everything in reverse. So, oh, we have a lily hair here. See, that's the update. I removed, previous hair that was in here, and now we're adding new hair to this. But what I'm gonna do here is add in let me move that away a little bit so it's not as blinding. I don't even need it to be all up close and personal like we had before. So there we go. What I'm gonna do now is install everything back in here. So let's go ahead and just work in reverse. Something I just gotta say while I'm setting this up, do you know what a real accomplished but underrated feeling is? That feeling when you take something completely apart, like what we did here, well, 90% apart, I would say. Well, you take something apart to the point where you have to remove all the screws, and then in the end, you put everything back together, and there's no extra screws. That is such a great feeling, my goodness. All right. Go ahead and move that back. So now the controller ports are installed again. Let's put in the power supply. Something that kind of surprises me. I completely forgot that the power supply is only held in with 2 screws. I don't know, I just felt like there should have been more, but what do I know on that? But either way, no, that's just surprising to me that there's only 2 screws that secure down the power supply. All right, so now with that installed, let's go ahead, starts to pop the motherboard back in here as well too. Since it's all cleaned up, repasted, soldered, really the rest of the stuff that's gonna happen now is going to be software-based modifications. So all the hardware is done, thankfully. All right, so there we go. We have everything hooked up at minimum here. Well, at least power supply to the motherboard. All the fans and stuff are hooked up. All the screws are in there. The controller board's hooked up as well too. It's actually one thing I liked about the later revisions of the Xbox. They ended up removing that controller board. So I think these just hook up. I'm pretty sure these just hook up directly into the motherboard as opposed to having this proprietary board right here as a intermediary type thing. But let me go ahead and finish hooking this up here. So got that. Got this. Cool. Alright, so now we just need to put in the DVD drive and the hard drive. I mean, that just barely snaps on, but for what it is, it snaps on super easily. There we go. Alright, cool. So, remove that. So we have the data hookup, we have the power hookup, and the last thing's going to be the hard drive. Just need to plug that in, give it power, and we've successfully rebuilt the Xbox. Now, I'm not going to screw in the hard drive yet, because I do want to upgrade the hard drive. So that's why I'm not screwing it in. I'm not going to put in the last 3 screws. I'm not going to put the cover on this yet, because I also want to clean the cover itself, and that's going to take, at least a day to let it dry and everything. Yeah. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up and make sure that it works.
Alright, so here we are back over at the Xbox. Now, I turned it on effortlessly. It did not make any horrific noises, thankfully. And if it runs a little bit cooler, I wouldn't be too surprised. It actually wouldn't be a direct result of the new thermal paste on there, because this Xbox seemed to run a little bit cooler than normal. But on top of that, right now, it is sitting kind of in front of my slightly drafty window, and it is topless, so that's why it's probably going to run a little bit cooler. But either way, let's pop in a disk and see if it makes any horrific sounds. The disk drive should still work. I'm just curious if the sounds will still be there. Alright, so disk drive still opens with no issue. And let's close. Alright, yep. It sounds like it's just when it fires off the disc, and like when it starts spinning it, that's where it has the issue, where it kind of makes that odd noise. But it honestly sounds better than before. It's just at the beginning, I don't think there's going to be anything to do with that, but it did recognize my disc. So the disc I popped in is Hexen 2018, which is a installation and utility disc for the original Xbox. I'm just going to go ahead and fire it up here. Alright, so I'm not sure what's up with this. The thing that's always annoyed me so much with Hexen is it takes like a minute to boot up. I'm not sure why. If anybody could maybe explain that, let me know. But next up, let's go ahead and see what applications are available, what tools are going to be here. I don't remember exactly what's on here. XP Partitioner, Config Magic, no. None of that stuff. Let me go ahead, actually. It wouldn't hurt to install this stuff, honestly. So let me go ahead and slap Chimp on here. I think I am going to do a copy over, because I do want to upgrade the hard drive, so I'm just going to clone it. Let's install these applications as well. And I'm surprised with how easy this has been reading my discs here. So even before the cleaning, this wasn't as bad, but I do remember just horrific times trying to load up Halo 2 and just it taking forever to load the campaign on there and being, worse on my Xbox than others. Of course, I remember Blank Media having all sorts of issues. I never played a CDR on here because those did not work, and I didn't use CDRWs. And what was the other thing? Serious Sam. I remember I had that on the Xbox. I had the Xbox port, and I got rid of it because I ran into so many disk read errors. And apparently, I don't know if anyone else can really verify this with their copies, but apparently I had a defective copy because it was just kind of known that a bulk of the copies of Serious Sam for the original Xbox had a ton of errors on them. So we have all that there. That's been installed. I'm trying to see what else there is here. I'm mainly looking for BIOS checker. I don't remember if that's on here. Damn, it's not. System. Nope. Nothing like that here. Dang. Okay, well, let's go ahead and go with the flashing. So I'm going to go over to ModChip TSOP Flash, not WinBond. So yeah, I don't have a WinBond or a Sharp. Cool, so it's going to be that. Yep. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hard mod the system by installing the custom BIOS here. So let's just wait for this to finish transferring. All right, cool. So let's see what we can do. Since I do have a 1.0 system, I can flash either 256K or 512K because I have a 1 megabyte BIOS. So I'm going to go over here. I do want FNG, and actually, yeah, I'll just use the X2, but I'm curious. Let's see what other 256K there are. I could do Evox, into BIOS, X2. Yeah, I'm just going to go with this variation right here. So FNG, and let's press Y to flash BIOS. And it's erasing, so no going back at this point. I also just noticed that the disk drive has, because that's GPU temperature, CPU temperature, and disk, and I don't know if they mean hard disk or DVD drive disk. I'm not sure. Also, the odd 176.9140 IP address, that's not a local address, and that's certainly not my external address, so, strange. I also just noticed here the flash type is fake Duo X2. Nice. But it did detect what it is. Xbox will turn off. All right. So there we go. Executor. Oh, this is a cool animation. All right. So there we go. We have successfully flashed this with a custom BIOS. And fantastic. This is actually really nice. I don't have to worry about, oh, my C drive hardly has anything. What the hell? What the hell? Hold on. What is everything installing to? Also, this seems to have changed up a bit. Okay, it's using a different version of Unleash X. Oh, I think it installed its own version. That's what was going on. Because I was thinking, normally what would happen before when I would when I would do this to a hard modded system is it would then kind of bork itself. So I had to wipe the drive and install everything fresh, which wasn't that big of a deal. It's just a soft mod install and a hard mod can't really coexist is the thing on there. So interesting. All right, cool. Well, either way on that, let me go into... I'm actually going to just fire up Hexen again and clean out this stuff if I can. Oh, that still sounds horrific. But either way, at this point, it's great. We now officially have a... Let me come here, change system. I always have to do this because it annoys me if I don't have the proper screen calibration. There we go. That looks so much better. I can see everything. But yeah, no, I'm going to fire this up again. And at this point, we now successfully have a hard modded system. All right, so go in here. Let me at least clean up cache. I don't think that's going to do all too terribly much on there. I just need to see if I can't do anything on there. Incomplete flash cleanup. No, it's not going to be that. I wasn't sure if there was anything else that would clean up the C drive, unless, let me just go ahead and go to the File Explorer here and see what's up. Alright, you know what, I'm not really going to worry about it all too much, although low-key I will, but I'll just pretend it doesn't bug me there. There we go. So what I'm going to do is, let's just take the disk out and restart the system. So this is one thing I really love about this BIOS. It just has the random splash screen animation here. And this all looks nice in 480p. Alright, cool. Now, one thing I want to do is go to Xbox Admin, System, Settings, and this is also what I like to do once I have a hard modded system. I go down here, and yes, unlock. Hard drive was unlocked successfully. Fantastic. So now this hard drive is unlocked. And if I ever, well, just to test it here, let me restart the console again. And fantastic, just restarted it and it is working. So again, at that point, we have the hard drive all set up. We have it unlocked and we have the custom BIOS flashed over. So I have protected this system as much as I could. The only further protection I could really do on here, and by protection I mean if the hard drive goes out, that's the main thing. Let's say hypothetical, I'm going to run this scenario by you. If you have to, let's say you have a soft mod system, you didn't back up your EEPROM, you didn't null out your key, and your hard drive crashes, well then at that point you have to extract the EEPROM from the motherboard and use that to rebuild a new hard drive and install that. If you don't have a EEPROM extractor, then you're kind of out of luck unless you install a mod chip. So the only way I could further future-proof or protect this console here is to install a mod chip, but I don't want to add anything else on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this off, take it back over to our bench, and let's work on upgrading the hard drive.
Alright, so we're back here. So what I'm going to be doing is I also wanted to show you all these here. I was thinking of firing up the softmod files I have on here, but I know they're probably gone at this point, which is totally fine. I didn't want to use that. And I had Halo 2 here just in case I had that Halo 2 save I was telling you all about, but unfortunately I don't have that anymore. So we're back over at the station here. The test bench is what I call it, because I have everything hooked up here for Xbox and PlayStation and GameCube here, thankfully. There we go. I don't have a network connection here, but I certainly don't need it. What we're going to do is upgrade this hard drive by imaging it. Now, if you know me and you've seen some of my other videos where I do this, normally I don't care about preserving the data all that much. But this one I do want to, because this is my data and this is what I grew up with and all that. I want to preserve the stuff on here, which is why I backed it up, but I also want it to be usable. So, for example, if I need to put this system into rotation for whatever means, and I need to add more games to it, I don't have to worry about storage, is what I'm saying. So, I'm not going to use this as a main system, though. I have one or two other Xboxes that I currently use, so I'm not going to switch off that. But this is, always a good backup to have, and certainly not a system I'm going to get rid of, because it's my first one. So let's go ahead, rip this open. But because of that is what I'm saying, I'll just spend, the 10 minutes or so. It should probably take a little longer, actually, because I have an F partition. But I'll spend, however many minutes I need to. Let's say 20 minutes imaging over the drive. That's totally fine. So one thing I want you to try on here. Let me actually unplug those before I do anything. We're going to be using a program called Chimp, and the downside with Chimp is that, at least the build that I installed from Hexen, it does not display over component, so I'm going to be doing this here. Now, some people who are familiar with this process might be asking me, well, why don't you have a Y-splitter? What are you doing? I can answer that here shortly. First of all, let me make sure the cables are here. Yes, this is in cable select. So let me just take this. I have not done it this way directly, as in I have not done a no hot swap. So this will be interesting to see if it works. I don't know if it does or not. Normally, mainly for soft modded Xboxes, but I've also showcased it on a hard modded system. You have to turn on the system, make sure the DVD drive and the hard drive are plugged in, make sure this secondary hard drive is also powered, and then at one point you end up pulling the IDE ribbon cable from the DVD drive and hook it up to the hard drive. We're just doing this right off the bat, though, so I'm interested to see if it works. If it works, fantastic. If not, then we'll just do it the old tried and true method. But I'm going to be using this right here because this here, because it makes my life a lot easier. I use this to hook up internal drives externally to my desktop, and I'm just going to use this to simply power on the Xbox here. So, or not the Xbox, the second drive. So all I need to do is, if I can show you all, I turn this thing on, and it should be working. Should be, at least. If it doesn't, oh well, but we'll see what's up. So, let me go ahead, plug in the Xbox, and let's see what we can do. So that is the longest I've ever seen this system. There we go, Air 13. All right, so we're probably gonna have to do a hot swap. I think what happened, it was taking so long to boot up because it didn't detect the DVD drive, which I know this BIOS, all the BIOS, I believe on Hexen 2018, have had the skip DVD check patch applied to them, or setting, I guess, in this case. But I think it got all freaked out because it detected 2 hard drives hooked up, which, in case you all don't know, you can only use 1 hard drive on the Xbox at once, unless, of course, we're like imaging it using Chimp. So I just reset the settings. Let me turn on the drive externally. I hear it spinning up. And let's turn on the Xbox here. And hopefully it should boot up much faster. All right, fantastic. And interesting, it ended up retaining the date on there. That's cool. So I'm just going to let that run. Generally what I do is I turn the Xbox on and just keep it sitting here for about 5 minutes, something like that. And then I swap it over. So let's just wait a few minutes. All right, so it's been a few minutes that I've been sitting at the dashboard here. What I'm going to do is show you all the hot swap. So it's not pretty by any means, but let's do it. All right, that's been pulled. And that's been swapped. So now I'm just going to bring this over here. Let's take a look at the screen separately. And let's give this a shot. So I'm going to go to Xbox Admin, Applications, Chimp Loader. Wow, that loaded quite fast actually. Connect, and it's probably going to take a little longer to boot than normal because I don't have any network hooked up to this. But let's see. Alright, cool. So TSOP chipped. Yup. I don't need to worry about locking it. And scan. And check that out. There is the original Seagate drive. Is that a 10 gig actually? Alright, that might be a 10 gig drive. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. Never mind. I don't care enough to really look at it upside down. So it is unlocked. It's working. Here is the Hitachi drive that I hooked up, which, by the way, this drive is annoying. Apparently there are some people who claim that this is lockable. This hard drive will claim in BIOS, like I have this installed in an X3 system, this drive will claim that it is lockable. And there's been like, as I said, like 1 or 2 people who've claimed they've locked this drive. I cannot get this drive to lock. So therefore, I don't have an issue putting it in here because it's a good 250 gig drive. It's a Cinema Star, so it's a good drive. It just doesn't lock, so I'll just install it in a hard modded system. So both drives are showing up just fine. So I'm going to go to Clone, Selective, C, E, and F. Oh, no. No, okay, here. Clone, Selective, C, E, and F. There we go. This is annoying. You press A to hit OK, but to change the selection, you have to press the X button. So I'm going to do, damn it, I did it again. All right, Selective, C, E, and F, because I have all those drives. Confirm format, yes. Slave hard drive is being formatted, cool. So it's going to format the slave drive, and now it's going to copy over my C, E, and F partitions. And cloning, fantastic. And it looks like it's running. Cool. Yep, I can hear both drives just fine. So I've only copied the C and E partitions before. I've never copied over F. So I have a feeling this is probably going to take about 15 minutes as opposed to, about the 10 or so that it normally does, which is totally fine. So I'm just going to let this clone. Alright, so that didn't take all too terribly long here, but in the end it's asking if I want to lock the slave hard drive. I'm going to say, you know what, actually I want to see if it locks. Okay, yeah, it failed, so it can't do that. I'm going to scan again. Unlocked, unlocked, both are showing up. So now other options, shut down. Yes, I want to shut down the Xbox. Cool. I'm now going to, first of all, unplug the power, because that's not needed. I'll unplug this as well, too. There we go. All right. Awesome. So, at this point, since I didn't screw this back in, I'm just going to unplug this drive completely. So, goodbye, old nasty Seagate. Don't need you. Hello, nice, newer, much bigger Hitachi. Plug this in right here. And since it's still set to cable select, it should be just fine. Should go in a little something like that, which actually, I do need to screw this in. So let me actually go through the effort of removing this real quick. There we go. And let me put the 4 screws in to actually secure this drive. Alright, so putting this all back from whence it came. There we go. That's interesting also. This has a little nub right here to put in the cables. I like that, it just secures them further. These are all plugged in. I'm going to also put in the 3 Torx 10 screws right here. Alright, so all the screws are in now except for the T20 screws, because obviously I'm not going to close this completely yet, since I still need to clean that up. Let's move that all there. Let's plug in the power again. Let's fire this Xbox up. Oh, I unplugged the video as well too. There was no reason for me to do that, but I did it anyways. And there we go. And that's actually strange. It doesn't show the F partition here. I had a feeling it didn't copy it over because I saw it do E, and then shortly after, like shortly before E was done, it ended up telling me that it was all finished. So just checking this out here again. Let me go to Applications, or no, not that. File Explorer. Yeah, it didn't copy over the F partition. Which, to be honest, that's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up the F partition myself. And remember when I FTP'd the entire partition to my computer? I'll just FTP it back over to the system, so it's like nothing ever left. But the E partition, everything is there, thankfully. Everything I need. So, I think I can do this in XB Partitioner. And here we go. Yep, for whatever reason it didn't generate the F partition. That's actually kind of disappointing. So I just want everything else to go there. So I'm going to press Start, Y. And back, B button. And check it out. C drive is still immensely small. I'll figure that out at one point. E drive, everything is transferred over. F drive, I have all that storage. So again, the last part for me really here, software-wise, is I'm just going to transfer over the rest of the F drive back over to this. And software-wise, we're going to be done. So I have all my original saves here. And again, just kind of wrapping this up. It's awesome. Cool. Actually, I'm not even going to finish this up here. Next part here, this is just going to take some time, so I'm not going to finish this all in one setting, but I now need to get this thing all cleaned up, all nice and proper, because it's kind of nasty.
So back here at the computer, I have my Xbox fired up. As you can see, everything is on the right side for the Xbox, and here I just have this drive called, well, folder called F, and this is literally everything here, so all I'm going to do is select all this, upload it, hit OK. And probably aside from some weird stuff with the dates and everything, all the data that I had on here before is going to be here, so I don't feel odd about, or I don't feel overly paranoid about backing it up, because you all saw I just tried it, and I couldn't image over that partition for whatever reason. I still have no idea why Chimp didn't transfer over that partition, but oh well. So this is the last thing I need to do on here, really, and once this is done, I can turn off this Xbox for now and get the rest of it cleaned up.
Alright everyone, so it's the next day. Hopefully we are near the end here, and just kind of wanted to update you on what was going on with this. So I ended up taking this piece off, cleaned it, it's looking, feeling much nicer. I'll just hook that back in, because, you know, that's where it's going to go. The top portion, should all be dry now. And it's looking a lot nicer than before. I did like a little bit of spot treatment and such on there. That's about the best we'll get it. Hopefully you all can kind of see that on the glare and all that. But again, it's feeling nicer than before. Gave that a nice bath. And then kind of just went and gave the rest of the system a bit of a once over. One nice thing I'm proud of is I cleaned the crevices inside of here really well. So thankfully those are all cleaned up. Kind of did the same, really cleaned up the front controller ports here as well too, and then cleaned up the bottom. So I think we'll be okay at this point, honestly. I think we will be okay. So I'm going to go about the next task putting this all back together, and then we can do one last test and make sure everything works. Alright, so I just finished screwing in everything, and guess what? We have one completely reassembled Xbox and no leftover screws. So we got that nice feeling here of being accomplished. Now, one thing I want to do, I'm going to kind of turn this over to you all. I don't really want to... can I keep it up? Maybe. I just want to see if I can do this. Hold on. So I've saved that sticker. Let's see what we can do. I can tell the sticker's dirty and all that, but I just want to do this for completeness sake. Something like that, maybe? I don't remember exactly where it went, to be honest with you all, but I think I kept it like right there. And there we go. I don't think it's in the exact spot because it's not like I measured it or anything, but it still has enough residue on there to stick back onto the system. So bam, there we go. How will I know that's my Xbox? Because guess what? It looks like my Xbox. Let me see if I can get a better view of this. Alright, so to wrap this up, summarizing what we did here again, took the original Xbox that I had. It was a 1.0 system, first ever Xbox I owned, first ever console is what I was trying to say that I've ever owned here. Took it all apart in no particular order here, but cleaned it up, re-softmodded it, nulled the hard drive key, removed the clock capacitor, cleaned the insides and everything as well too. TSOP flashed it with a X2 512 kilobyte BIOS and upgraded the hard drive and cloned everything over to do that, so we now have a 250 gigabyte drive. So honestly, I would say that this console right here is probably, not only is it the same console that I had growing up, but it is also the same console that I would have wanted growing up. Honestly, I probably would have wanted like an X3 CP and all that other stuff on here, but I'm totally okay with this. And some people, if you're at the end, first of all, thank you, but some people might be wondering, why didn't you do any case mods? Why didn't you do any of that other stuff? Again, because this is the sentimental console to me, alright? I'm honestly not really going to use this one that much. I'm going to keep it on the side. I did set this up though to make it usable just in case I do need it, and I'll explain that. But I have other systems I use. My main system is a 1.2 Xbox, and it's a Halo Green Edition. It has a 2 terabyte drive. The clear one I showed you all, which that one I replaced the case on and, you know, have a clear top on it. That one has a 1 terabyte drive that I installed on there. So that's, you know, my backup system, just in case I need that, just in case we use it, or, you know, if we're doing LAN, we'll use it as a second system. But this one here, I want to still keep it, you know, the same familiar system. What I'm trying to say here is, I know this is a little long-winded, but what I'm trying to say here is, I have other systems to mess around with and put, you know, extra mods and all that stuff on there that have no sentimental value to me. This one does, so it'd be a little bit different. Like if I did, you know, some cool physical mods on it back in the day, it'd be a different situation. But since I didn't, I still want to keep it intact, but I wanted to make sure it was updated and future-proofed and usable. Because I mean, like, look at this, for example. Like, I'm messing with these systems right now. I'm doing a few things with them, but like literally soft-modded Xbox that I've been using as a guinea pig, another guinea pig system that I actually have technically a physical mod on there. I have a X3 on that, and another guinea pig system, which this one I need to use a little bit more. It has a 128 megabyte RAM upgrade on there, so that's why it's sitting here. So what I'm trying to say is I have plenty of other systems to use as guinea pigs and do crazy LED mods and control panels and all that stuff on there. I really don't want to do anything to my childhood system any further. This is the stopping point. But let's go ahead and wrap up and see what this all has. So as you can see, Executor 2 config live loading. Let's wait a little bit. And that really is how long it takes to boot up, unfortunately. It does take longer to boot up because it X2 config live at the beginning. It's essentially pulling the X2 config INI file on the hard drive, so it has to spin up the hard drive and then load up the file and then finish the rest of the BIOS boot up sequence. So there we go. We got our Unleash X here, and this TV, it overscans so badly. Look at that. I only use this TV to do tests and all that here. I don't actually play on here, so I don't care how it really looks. But Still got my nickname right there, still using Unleash X. And really about the only other thing I added, of course, you know, we have the 250 gig drive on there, which you can barely see because it's so poorly overscanned. Let me see. There. I mean, I'm using over 30 gigabytes of space on it right now. But, this is what I had added on here. I had several games, so I still kept, of course, Ed, Edd n Eddy The Misadventures on there. Had to. I didn't see a reason to delete it. But I pretty much added every single variant of Halo I had on here. So essentially that is just Halo, Halo 2, and a bunch of different modded versions. So like these are modded versions of the original Halo. These are modded versions of Halo 2. There's the Halo 2 multiplayer map pack, of course, which has the 1.1 update wrapped in there, so I need to actually install that. But yeah, this is the other thing I do with my system. So pretty much every system I have, I just load up with the Halo games. So that's about the game we're going to want to, if I have people over and we feel nostalgic, that's the game we're going to fire up and play and do LAN on or whatever. So that way, all the systems I have are all configured for Halo, and we can have some good times right off the get-go. So, awesome. No, just at the end, you know, and just seeing this sticker here makes me so happy. Just that it was still able to stay on. That's why I kept it. I didn't want to get rid of it. So again, we still have the same system, 1.0 Xbox, but now it's just been updated and future-proofed, so I think we're good. Let's do one more boot on here, just one more boot. I want to see this before we completely sign off. But man, if you made it to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome, going through and finally doing this. And honestly, after I did this, like, you know, the in between these clips here, I was telling some friends, I said I feel so much better now, because this system was really bugging me, because, you know, it's the honestly the system that the original Xbox I care about the most in my collection, I would say. And I didn't know what the clock cap looked like at all in there. I wasn't sure if the DVD drive worked. I wasn't sure if the hard drive went out. But now we have all that refurbished, replaced, removed, all the respective stuff there, and it's looking good, and it's running well. So yeah. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be appreciated. If you didn't like it, a dislike is fine as well too. And if you made it to the very end, I would like to know what your notable childhood Xbox stories are. I would really like to know that. So if you have any, please drop them down below in the comment section. Thank you so much.